I'll preface this by saying I'm not a trainer by trade, so I apologize if any of this is rough around the edges.
Bruce, you want to bring some light up for him?
Certainly.
I actually sell to...
Back row. Back row. Back row?
Back row, front row?
Whatever works.
Back row's good.
Is that too much, too little?
Is it good?
I'm a sales rep for Panasonic, so I know as much as I can about the product. I own the product, I sell in the product, I walk into retail stores, I talk to sales guys about the product. I occasionally try to slip in a good word with the customers that are in the store to sell some Panasonic product. But really I'm here because this is the type of event that a company like Panasonic really wants to see. We've, for too long, the last few years, as a plasma company, we've kind of been subject to the cheapest panel syndrome, where a lot of people like to get real promotional with our low-end sets, 720p sets, and it kind of establishes what the customer's mindset is. We're not a low-end TV company. We're in that business because we need to keep the factories going. You see what happens with a beautiful company like Pioneer. Can't build enough panels, can't maintain the costs, the relative cost structure because they're not building enough panels to do it. Panasonic's the largest plasma manufacturer on earth. And the way we continue to plan to be successful is we're making investments in LCD. We'll eventually be in that business in a big way. But as a company, our philosophy is the best big panel TV is a plasma. There's certain inherent benefits to a plasma. One of the features I'm going to highlight here is actually just a simplistic thing we do. Every Panasonic TV from a 26-inch LCD up to our 65-inch plasma has an SD card slot. Right about the middle of the road, when you get to 1080p product, there's only one series that doesn't have the ability to play movies. This panel, the V10, and a couple series below it can all play H.264, AVC HD, 1080p video from an SD card. We'll show that off a little bit later. 100,000 hours to half brightness. That's actually, plasma technology is about as durable technology as you get. We did this if I happen to ever break one of these TVs, I'll get you another one. And I did this last night. If you have kids, if they have the Wii, if you have pets, and they like to claw or do anything, you know that an LCD screen isn't as durable as a plasma screen. Now people say plasma's more fragile when you ship them. Sure, when you're buying windows from Lowe's or Home Depot, they don't ship them to you flat. There is a piece of glass in here, so we recommend you keep it straight, but the pixels don't fall out like we all know. It's the one thing that guys like to knock us for, and if you take a look around, when the room is fairly bright, every TV has some glare. Yes, plasma used to be worse because it was just a piece of glass, and no one treated it with any anti-reflective coating or anything, but we've kind of gotten past that. You're always going to have some reflection. CRTs were the worst. You had that little bit of roundness on your CRT, forget it. There was no good spot in the room when it was bright. Plasma is addressing that, and we're also talking about the longevity. We're basically talking about all the stuff that guys like to pick us apart for. LED-free display as of a few years ago, we were the first manufacturer to be completely free of heavy metals. So if you ever do eventually, 27 years from now, need to get rid of your Panasonic plasma, the landfill will thank you. There's no heavy metals in our sets. THX. Everything from G10 series, which Robert also stocks, on up, is THX certified. It means we send it for independent testing. They look at it for color and chrominance and luminance. They take a look at the sound processing, how it handles information feeds. And once they feel that it passes all the criteria, they slap a THX on it. LG has some THX panels. We were the first ones last year to go pursue THX to get that. VieraCast, which is a fancy name for this thing, has a home screen. So if you connect it to your Ethernet or you buy a wireless bridge, you can get out to the internet and you can watch YouTube videos. And it'll save your login so you can watch your favorite YouTube videos. It'll allow you to have a Picasa account and upload all your high-res photos to the internet so everybody can view them. You don't have to have everybody huddled around your 17-inch laptop or your 22-inch LCD on the computer desk. You can do it on your 50-inch plasma. It's got Bloomberg, you can program in your zip code for the weather, and recently launched is Amazon On Demand. So they're SD titles or HD titles, you can actually stream them directly to your TV. Viera Link is something we've done for a long time. In an environment where you're looking to have whole house control, and maybe you do a lot of complicated stuff, it doesn't really spell the same thing for you. But it basically means that all our products talk to each other through HDMI. It's not proprietary like some companies like to do. We work with Yamaha and Onkyo. So if you have an Onkyo receiver with HDMI pass-through, it'll actually recognize your Blu-ray player and say, okay, you just plugged in a Panasonic Blu-ray player. Whenever you hit play on the TV integrated remote or the Blu-ray remote, the TV knows, switch to Blu-ray source and play that video and fill the screen. No settings for language, no settings for picture size. And that even works. I had my HD camera here yesterday. Anything Panasonic that has an HDMI slot on it. DVD recorder, high definition camera, $2.99 home theater in a box. As long as it's HDMI, it'll talk to the TV. Viera Photo Viewer, which we're basically exhibiting now. ABC HD video. I'll show you a couple snippets. What we've done is we've created Neo PDP. Plasma is always going to consume more power than LCD as it stands right now. It's, there's a lot of talk about how, well, plasma doesn't have to use the whole screen if there's a dark scene. So theoretically, if you're watching a lot of movies on it, your power consumption is going to be down because a lot more of the screen is going to be dark. We're individual pixels. We're not a backlit technology. So we can shut off parts of the screen or reduce energy to certain parts of the screen to enable us to get the blackest blacks, other than apparently the pioneer in testing. And we're able to do a lot more. And we continue to
That's the cat out of the bag.
we continue to enhance things that we do. We've built a brighter panel, and we're also touting full-time 1080 resolution no matter how much motion you introduce into the picture. Something our 240 hertz brethren cannot do. Last year was 480, this year is 600. This is kind of just a number. We needed to be out there. 240, 240, 240, okay, we're 600. Not really a big thing. It's going to be noticeable on certain things like fast scrolling tickers and sports and some stuff, but plasma was built to be a television. LCD was built to be a light box. Now there's this race for performance that's kind of getting closer and closer all the time, but LCD still has some inherent problems with motion. Enhanced Viera Link. Imagine having a network camera in your vacation house, or having a doorbell camera that's connected to the network on the internet or otherwise, even if it's in your internal network. If your TV is connected to the internet through your Ethernet or through your wireless bridge, you now have access to that camera through your television. And you can control it just like you would control your Blu-ray player. This is our flagship, which basically shares just about all the same specs as the V10, which we're showing. But this is the Z1, and it's a little stretched. This is not the correct proportion for the set. Maybe we should do that next year. It's a brushed metal, 54-inch wireless plasma. The brains of the set sit elsewhere, with all your complement of 4 HDMIs, component, composite connections, your coax, and the TV sits anywhere else in the room that you feel like it. It's got an HDMI port in it if you need to override it and troubleshoot the set locally instead of trying to figure out if there's a transmission issue. So we've kind of thought of a lot of stuff with it, and it just happens to be an inch thick. This is just showing you the V10 series is an interesting bird because there's some little tweaks in the sizes. 50-inch and 54-inch feature our one sheet of glass design. So the glass is actually going to go from end to end and doesn't have that kind of bezel that we look at, like here with the Bravia. The 50-inch is the only one that has a swivel pedestal. But then everything up from that, the features are all the same. Just one sheet of glass, 50 and 54, and swivel stands for the 50-inch. And then the Z1, like I said, is only available this year in 54-inch. And it's a brushed metal. And that is it for my PowerPoint.